Just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me last night for your pasta night. I loved cooking with you and I appreciate you joining me. Have a wonderful Blue Demon week and hopefully I will see you very soon. Go Blue Demons! Woo!
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming. I'm Alex,
And
and so we're so glad to have Jyll here with us today. So a little bit about Jyll is after a 2-month stint competing on Food Network Star, Jyll quickly realized that she loved teaching on camera. Jyll's approach to cooking resides in her personal acronym M.I.T.G, which means make it taste good. And after professionally cooking for 12 years, Jyll is armed with tools, techniques, and tricks to teach the home cook how to make delicious food without the stress. So,
thank you. Good job. I'm so happy you say that because I hate saying all that. I have no idea why my bio says 12 years. I've cooked for so much longer than that. So one of those things where I wrote that up probably at like midnight and threw out 12. It's a lot longer than that. Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it so much. I have the chat up in front of me here. So if you have any questions as we go along, if you're cooking along with me and you need me to slow down or questions about the recipe or anything like that, please throw them up there. You can ask all the Food Network questions you want. It's usually why half the people are here is to get the tea. And again, my name is Jyll Everman. I'm coming at you from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And you are in my happy place. You're in my kitchen. This is my Disneyland here. So I own a spot here called Gather on Broadway. We're right on Broadway here downtown. And I appreciate you being here. So I know it's a special week. I know it's Blue Demon week. And like you've got like, it's kind of like your homecoming and everything. And this is part of the fun. So hopefully you have a good time and learn something. And if not, hopefully you're making some really good food or you'll use these recipes later because they're simple. M.I.T.G, just make it taste good. That's all I care about as I've gotten older. I'm over the frou-frou food. I'm over the molecular gastronomy, just M.I.T.G. I just want things that taste good. This menu tastes really good, so it makes me happy. I'm doing a classic Caesar dressing, a classic Caesar salad with really yummy buttery croutons, and we're gonna do a creamy lemon pasta and some crispy chicken over the top. So absolutely delicious. If you're cooking along with me, make sure your ingredients are out in front of you so you're prepped. I have an oven here at 200 degrees. That's gonna hold our chicken nice and warm. And I also have a pot of water coming up to a boil pretty soon. I have it on like medium heat because we don't need it quite yet. So the first thing we're gonna do right now is we're gonna get our Caesar dressing started. So we're gonna start with the Caesar because that way we can put everything in the fridge and toss it all together right before we need it. So a few things here we got going on. I've got 1 cup of mayonnaise and 1 cup of sour cream. So we're gonna use both. And you can easily do this like in a food processor if you want, or something like that. I just like to whisk it all together by hand. I like a good like rustic Caesar dressing. Super bold flavors. The Caesar dressings in a jar, or like in a bottle, drive me insane. I think they're so lackluster. I think I just find them so boring because Caesars are meant to have really big flavors going on. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So I've got a cup of mayonnaise and a cup of sour cream going in a bowl. Now I'm gonna get my garlic out here. I can't, I'm the full screen, so I can't see what you're doing. So please on the chat, feel free to say, slow down, Jyll, or what have you, because I can't really navigate where you're at. But I've got some garlic cloves here. I've got 2 decent sized garlic cloves. If you're using the garlic in a jar that you can just scoop out, I'm not mad at you. You do what you gotta do to survive. So sometimes a big jar of garlic, even though it's not my first choice, it's keeping you out of a drive-through, please do it. All right, so now I've got 2 cloves of garlic here. If yours has the skin on it, or if it doesn't, I want you to go ahead and take that fat part of the knife, smash it. We're gonna smash it because it's gonna make it so much easier to mince up. What I don't want you doing is using that evil garlic press. I hate garlic presses. I'm very judgmental, Jyll, about those. I hate them. So I think they're smushy and weird, whatever comes out and wet, and then you clean it for 2 hours. Let's just let's just mince this up properly. So get your knife on the board, pinching the blade. Do not put that finger on top of the knife, right? Pinch that blade before you even start. Get used to it. Put the tip of the knife on the board and just rock forward, and it never comes off. It just stays there. It just rocks like this. It's like a fantastic dance move. That's all we're looking to do because this is 90% of your chopping is going to be like this in life. So now I got my smushed up garlic here. Just rock that knife forward, keeping my fingers out of the way. Just break it up. We're not looking to mince it right now. Just breaking it up. you know, maybe do that one more time. Start getting faster as you go. Just keep those digits out of the way. And then once it's broken up a little bit, what I want you to do is smush it in a pile, put the tip of the knife on the board, hand on top, and just rock back and forth. Keep smushing it up. Just rock back and forth till it's minced up. One of my favorite things in the world is Caesar dressing because of the bold flavors, but raw garlic in a Caesar dressing is fabulous. It's so big and I love it so much, but it balances out with the lemon and everything else in it. So once you have it all minced up here, see how I just kind of keep smushing it back together? Now we don't have to clean a garlic press. So now mine's minced up. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it to my sour cream and mayonnaise mixture. Don't waste any. Beautiful. A few more things we got going on here. I've got some apple cider vinegar. This is gonna give it that, we're gonna brighten it up. We got heavy stuff going on here. Let's brighten this up. So I'm gonna do about a quarter cup. Oh, I'm sorry, not apple cider, red wine vinegar. Quarter cup red wine vinegar. I'm gonna change this out for a whisk. I don't need that anymore. And then the key, so usually an authentic Caesar dressing is going to have anchovies pureed into it, which are wonderful. Anchovies are a building block of life. Even though everybody thinks they're gross, they're not. They're fabulous. They're salty, full of umami flavor, make amazing sauces. So we're gonna skip that part because a lot of people don't have access to anchovies all the time. And we're gonna put our Worcestershire sauce in here. And the secret ingredient in Worcestershire is anchovies. So it works out quite well. So you're still gonna get that really deep umami flavor. Now we need to get a little lemon in here. So about a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. So what I do is I cut my lemon in half. I have a citrus squeezer, but tonight I'm gonna use my tongs. And I just use tongs like this and it gets the juice out. Now, if this was a lime or an orange, I would do it upside down because you don't have to worry about seeds. But this is lemon juice, so I do it facing up. And that way the seeds stay in while all the lemon juice comes out. And this is pretty juicy, so I'm only gonna use a half a lemon to start. Beautiful, I'll save that other half. And then finally, the last thing, Parmesan. You gotta get that Parmesan, that's another layer of umami flavor. And I love Parmesan, I keep Parmesan wedges around at all times. And I love Parmesan because it's one of those cheeses that just doesn't offend anybody. You know what I mean? Like people don't like this cheese or that cheese, but Parmesan, it's a little sweet, a little salty, a little nutty, a little earthy, but it doesn't offend. Like it's not harsh. It's not polarizing in a dish. It just complements so many dishes. So I always have wedges of Parmesan. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna grate some in. M.I.T.G, we're gonna make it taste good. You gotta measure this with your heart. Don't look at, I don't even know what I told you in the recipe. Just measure with your heart. You like a lot of cheese? Put a lot of cheese in. I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna get a little dash of salt, just a little, because Worcestershire has salt and so does Parmesan, so I'll season it up after. But a lot of pepper. Just a lot of pepper in there. And I'm gonna whisk this up. Then we're gonna taste it. M.I.T.G, make it taste good. It sounds like such a simple acronym, but truly, I've eaten all over the place. I've cooked through Italy. I've eaten all over the country. Like I have seen some of the most beautiful food you'll ever see in your life. And it tasted like nothing. So for me, the moment I turned 40, thank you, I know I don't look it, I adapted M.I.T.G right away. And I don't care how ugly food is, if it tastes good, my soul is happy. So that's what we're gonna do, we gotta taste it now. Do we like it? Does it need more lemon, more salt, more pepper, more cheese? What's it need? Make it taste good. How do you like it? So I'm gonna taste this creamy dressing. Okay, I think it needs a little more salt, a little more pepper. Ooh, that's nice and lemony. A little more cheese. Oh, that raw garlic comes out, that flavor. Oh, it's so good. This is 10,000 times better than anything you can buy in a jar in a grocery store. And it comes together so fast, super, super fast. All right, whisk it again, try it again. Okay, don't just set it to the side now. Taste it, make sure it tastes good. All right, I'm at a full boil back here, so I'm actually gonna turn mine down because I don't need it quite yet. You just sit and chill for a while. Okay, so now I'm gonna taste it again. I'm the one eating this tonight, so don't be afraid that I keep double dipping. This is my dinner tonight. Yum, a little more salt and I'm done. Ooh, that garlic is making me happy. Set that to the side. I'm gonna grab my romaine lettuce here. I'm gonna set my lemon to the side. Maybe I'll use that later. I'm gonna chop up some fresh romaine. It's been washed, good to go. You can just grab a bag of chopped romaine too if that makes your life easier. These little tender hearts inside like this, I love these. I love these. I just tear them in half and throw them in the bowl. I'll chop the rest, but those tender parts in the middle that are nice and light and crisp, like those, oh, I love those so much. I just tear them. And then just chop it however you like it, keeping your fingers out of the way. Toss those in. Every time I chop romaine, every time I think about back to my high school job, I worked, of course, I'm in Green Bay, right? So I worked at Brett Favre's Steakhouse, of course, the fancy place in town. And the Packer players would come in and all the waitresses would be so excited because they're like, here we go, I'm going to marry one of them. I didn't think that, but I always thought I would never marry a football player. And the reason I thought that was they were such mama's boys. We served Caesar salads that were served whole like this. And every time the Packer players would make me take it back to the kitchen and chop it up for them because they didn't know what to do with whole heads of lettuce. And I went, they're too high maintenance for me. And I never set out to marry a football player. So every time I chop romaine lettuce, I think about football players that were kind of mama's boys. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I did. All right, so I've got some beautiful chopped romaine here. I got my dressing. The only thing I'm gonna do now, just to prep myself up here for later, because we're gonna throw all this in the fridge, is I'm gonna take my wedge of Parmesan. Clearly mine's been used a lot because I always have wedges of Parmesan. And I take a vegetable peeler and I just do some beautiful shreds of cheese over the top of that romaine. Just over the top, don't toss it in yet. I don't want it getting all soaked with any like water that might be at the bottom. So I'm just gonna put it right over the top. And that way when we toss it later with our Caesar dressing, you got these big, beautiful shreds of Parmesan in here. All right, a couple more here because I'm in a Caesar mood today. All right, isn't that beautiful? So what I want you to do once you're at that point, get it in your fridge. I'm gonna move mine to the side here, but get your dressing in the fridge, get your lettuce in the fridge, and now we can just toss it all right before we need it. But first, we need some croutons, some croûtes. So let's get some croutons rolling here. I've got a loaf of bread. Get bread. I don't care what bread. Just make it taste good. If you like brioche, get brioche. You like Italian bread, get Italian. You like French bread, I don't care. Just as long as it's not pre-sliced. Don't want pre-sliced bread. I want to be able to cut these into big chunks. So back here, I got a saute pan. I'm going to heat this up over medium heat. And I got some butter. I'm putting the butter in. Do your thing. Melt that down while we're getting this ready because we're going to toss these bread cubes in this butter that's all melted in the pan. Make it taste good. So I like to use a serrated knife when I'm doing anything like this because a serrated knife is meant for anything that's hard on the outside, soft on the inside. Tomatoes, peaches, bread, things like that. So it's going to make your life a lot easier to use serrated so you're not smushing the bread. And I'm going to do probably like 1/2-inch cubes. I'm not going to use this whole loaf. I don't need the whole loaf. By the way, I am cooking, of course, always with unsalted butter. When you are cooking and baking, unsalted butter 100% of the time, all the time, no matter what. See how simple that is? All the time. If you can find recipes that call for salted butter, they are rare because chefs don't want anyone else seasoning their food. I don't want anyone else seasoning these for me. I'm going to salt them. I don't want anyone else to do it. Now, if you want to put salted butter on your pancakes, on your toast, things like that, high five. Not mad about that. I do it all the time. However, when it comes to cooking, don't let other people season your food. Switched over to my chef's knife now so I can cut some beautiful little cubes out of this. I grabbed an Italian bread. So it's nice and hearty. That's what we're looking for. How you doing over here? I'm going to turn up that heat a little bit. Oops, lost my flame. Hold on one sec. There we go. All right, cubing up. But when you get the pre-sliced bread, it's usually sliced way too thin and you don't end up with croutons. You end up with like little shreds that shrink up in the butter and you want nice big rustic chunks. You already got those big slivers of Parmesan that are amazing. I like this to be like a hearty rustic salad. All right, one more here. All right, so now we grab a little of my iced coffee that is incredibly strong. So I'm going fast. Please tell me, because I'm on a little caffeine right now. Yep, that doesn't taste good with Caesar dressing. Don't do that. Don't do what I do. Okay, so I got some butter all melted in here. Now it's time to get the bread in. We're gonna give these a good toss. Ooh, that butter's even getting a little nutty, a little brown butter almost, and I like that. You don't have to do that, but it smells pretty good. Now toss it, make sure it's getting coated in that butter. If you feel it needs a little more butter, like if you have a lot of bread, add a little more butter. We're just looking to get these golden. I might actually do that. I have a little more butter here. I'm gonna add it in. But I'm also one of those people that loves like soaked up croutons. I like them super buttery and delicious. Let me clear my space here real quick. All right, let me give that a good toss again. And once I feel that there's butter on all the bread, almost there. I think I just need a little bit more. I ended up doing a few more croutons than I thought I was going to, because I have not eaten much today and I'm just downing iced coffee. But I have salt and pepper ready to go here that I'm gonna sprinkle over the top, because we used unsalted butter. Now let's season our food. Now, if you came to my last class here, I know I talked about salt. Salt being my favorite thing, and salt being something that I want you to use properly. And I don't want you seasoning your food with a salt shaker. I would never go up to this right now and start hitting it with a salt shaker. You have no control. You have no idea how much is coming out. And salt shakers normally take that little blue iodized girl, the umbrella girl. We don't want to cook with her. She's cute. She's lovely. I have nothing against her. What I want you to do is get a box of kosher salt, put it in a little container. It can be a little Tupperware container, be a beautiful little salt crock, whatever you want to do. Oops, man overboard here. And I want you to keep it on your station. You can use your salt shaker on your kitchen table. That's a great way to do it. Season your food there, but when you're cooking, you use your hands. So I'm going to take my salt with my fingers, and I'm going to go nice and up high, not to be bougie. I'm doing it because I want that even salt distribution over the top. So nice and up high. That's why chefs do this. That way it's even. You don't end up with salt pockets. And let's do some pepper too. Not a ton, because there's a lot. I added a lot of pepper to my Caesar, so I don't think you need a ton. Give that a good stir. Now these croutons are getting soaked up in that butter. Now we're just looking to get some color on them. Now, if you prefer not to do the saute method of this, you can toast them on top. You can also toss it in melted butter, a little salt and pepper, and throw them in your oven and just toast them up that way. That's fine. For me, I am one of those people that gets distracted, like, ooh, squirrel, and I forget that they're in the oven. I like things I can see almost all the time. So they're just starting to get a little bit of crust on them. You know, oh, I'm sorry. I know this is so random and so simple, but the smell of buttered toasty bread is like, oh, I've been on such a yeast bread kick lately. I've been making so many yeast breads at my house because I just love toast. I love that butter soaked toast. It puts me in a good mood. While we're waiting for that, I want you to start getting out your ingredients for our chicken pasta, because that's going to come together pretty quick as well. Get you guys some dinner. But I'm also want to keep, my stuff's already prepped, so I want you to get your stuff prepped, but I'm going to keep stirring these because they can go from light to dark pretty quickly. See how they're getting that beautiful toast on them? When they come out of the pan, if you wanted to sprinkle them with more Parmesan, I wouldn't be mad at you. If anything, I would probably hang out with you all the time because I feel like we have a lot in common. So we're 90% done with our Caesar dressing, or our Caesar salad. Comes together so fast. Now, if you wanted to, make the Caesar salad for, date night, something like that, you can chop the lettuce ahead of time. You can shave the Parmesan ahead of time. You can make the Caesar dressing ahead of time, and you can make these croutons ahead of time and just let them cool down and put them in like a Tupperware container or a freezer bag. And all you got to do is toss it all together at the last minute. So just saying, cooking for a date, hottest thing ever. Throwing that out there. Any guy in college who cooked for me, telling you what, it was better than jewelry. Not going to lie. It only happened once and it was awesome. So cooking for a date is the way to go. I would say these need about 20 more seconds and then we're going to start on our chicken. Getting my breading station ready here. We're gonna pound out some chicken breasts. Don't forget, if you have any questions on anything at all, please put it up in the chat. I'm here for you. I'm here to gossip about Food Network. I'm here to answer any recipe questions, anything like that. Anything you got going on in your kitchen, equipment questions. Did anybody cook anything amazing over New Year's or the holidays? I could talk food all day. See how beautiful crispy these are getting? I want 1 more minute on these. Got a little bowl here to pour them into when I'm done. All right, everybody's doing good. Okay, so it is Blue Demon Week. Don't forget there is a Blue Demon Bake Off. There's some info in the chat about it, I believe, or they can give you some info in the chat. There's ways to win Blue Demon apparel, all sorts of fun stuff. So make sure to be checking the chat. I'm sure they'll put some info up for you. Look at that, toasty, buttery. Wish you could smell it. Let's get it in the bowl so it doesn't burn in the pan. And then if I were to make these ahead of time, let them cool completely before you bag them up, okay? Otherwise, if I were to like pour these in Tupperware and turn them off, or I mean, put them in Tupperware and like cover them right now, they're gonna steam and get all soggy. So right now, we just want those to air out. But I mean, that's just like buttery, toasty bread. So good. Oh, they're putting up some info for you here, so make sure to check it out. Put those to the side. Put all this to the side. Take a sip of iced coffee. I don't need it, but I'm going in. Let's do some chicken. First, let's get our chicken breasts out. I am going to throw some gloves on because I don't have a sink right next to me. So let me get some gloves on here. We're going to pound these out nice and thin. This is almost like, there's so many different words for thinly pounded crispy chicken. You can do paillard, which is French. You can do schnitzel. Like there's so many, you can just do crispy chicken, but that's what this is. It's just a crispy chicken and it's so delicious. Chicken breasts, I'm going to tell you, are like a chef's worst nightmare. I hate cooking chicken. I can do it. I do it all the time. It's the least exciting protein to cook. There's no fat on it. It's super boring. So we need to jazz this up, make it taste good. Get some plastic wrap, wax paper. I'm using a little parchment paper because I happen to have some. You can get a rolling pin right now. I like to use a meat mallet, and all you're gonna do, pound them so they're nice and thin. Hopefully I don't knock anything off this table. Beautiful. Let's do this one now. All right, take a look. Yep. So they're about 1/4 inch thick. If they get a little thin like that, no big deal. Don't even stress about it. We're gonna bread them up and they're gonna turn out beautiful, but those are gonna cook really quick. All right, so I got these 2 here. Give me that. I'm gonna put them right on my baking pan here. I'm gonna do the other 2. You can also buy, I often see thin cut chicken breasts at the grocery store. So if you wanna skip this step, skip it. You can and just buy the thin sliced ones, do it. Also, you can do this with pork chops as well because they sell those really thin cut pork chops. So if you're not a big chicken person, do pork chops. I'm bringing my water back up to a boil because we're gonna need that pasta pretty soon. So let me do this side. All right, take a look. Lovely. That is my accent because I'm in season 3 of Outlander. And I basically talk with an English or British accent at all times, and it's driving my husband to drinks. So you know where I'm at. All right, so now I've got my 4 chicken thinly pounded out. Now we gotta make our breading station. We gotta bread this up. So easy. Flour. I got some flour in a bowl. I'm gonna add a good pinch of salt. Good pinch. And then I'm just gonna whisk that up. Beautiful. Next, I have 2 eggs. On a flat surface, not the side of the bowl that impales the shell, flat surface. That way the shell doesn't impale and doesn't end up in your food. If the shell does end up in your food, if you see it in there, don't use your finger or anything like that. Oops, what do we got? I'm very behind. How do you save a dressing that is too lemony? Did you add more? Yes, I would add a little more mayo. Mayo will mellow that out, and a pinch of sugar. A little pinch of sugar will help you as well. If your shell falls in, you're welcome. Just use the shell itself. It will act like a magnet. So if I see it in there, I'm not using my finger, just dip it, it'll stick right to it. So I'm gonna give these eggs a whisk. Okay, calm down. And then finally, we need to make this the last part of our breading station, which is so delicious. This is what's gonna make it crispy and golden and gorgeous. First, I've got some panko breadcrumbs. You can use regular Italian breadcrumbs if you'd like, but panko is made with rice, and that's why it's so light and crispy. Whereas like Italian breadcrumbs, things like that, regular breadcrumbs are made from bread. And to me, it does make them crispy, but it also can make them a little soggy as they sit in the oven for a few minutes. And these don't get soggy. So I like the panko breadcrumbs. One of the tricks, don't buy the panko breadcrumbs in the breadcrumb baking aisle. Go to the Asian aisle. The Asian aisle will have them for half the price. So I always go to the Asian aisle and get them. All right. Panko breadcrumbs, more Parmesan. Let's tie this all together. More Parmesan here. I just got some shredded Parmesan. Mix that together a little bit. Oops, I literally lost a lid. I don't know how that got in there. And let's do some lemon zest. This lemon zest, here's the thing about lemon zest. All of the flavor is that yellow outside. I mean, really, the inside is a sour juice and that's great, but this outside has so many oils, these bright, bright oils. Just don't get the white part, but it has so many oils and it's gonna add such a beautiful brightness. What does it say? How much breadcrumbs did we use? I used, how much breadcrumbs did I use? I used 1.5 cups. I'm pulling up my recipe here. I have it here. 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs, 2 eggs, and then a cup of flour with a bunch of salt in it. And now I've got the breadcrumbs and the Parmesan. You're welcome. I'm so glad you're cooking along. You're gonna love dinner. It'll all be worth it. So all those bright oils in here with the Parmesan. Lemon and Parmesan to me, even though in Italy, there's a little bit of a rule sometimes, you always hear the no seafood with cheese thing, and you also hear no acid with cheese. But to me, lemon zest and Parmesan, or lemon and Parmesan, is a perfect combination. So I love it. Make it taste good. You know what? This tastes really good. And I want all that zest in there. I always pound it so I get all of it out. All right, that should be good. This is a pretty big lemon. Beautiful. Set that lemon to the side for a little bit because I'm probably gonna need it later. And let me give that a nice little whisk around. So that Parmesan's gonna add some salt. That lemon's gonna add the brightness. My eggs are not, what do we got? I am living on my own for the first time. Kitchen essentials to cook along. I love that. Living on your own, you just need a few kitchen essentials that will get you excited and in the kitchen. That's a great question. First, you need, I'll tell you while my friend's catching up here, heavy wooden spoon. You need a heavy wooden spoon, not one from the dollar store. Heavy wooden spoon. 2, you need a good non-stick pan. A good, heavy non-stick pan, okay? Don't worry about the price. Don't worry about the name brand. Just make sure it's heavy. It needs to be heavy, okay? Good non-stick pan. A good cutting board. Don't get one of those cheap, like, there's like plastic ones and ceramic ones. Get a good cut, not plastic. Plastic's okay. Just get one that's thicker and it will hold up, and don't get all different ones. Like I have one for meats and one for veggies. No, it can all just be washed with warm water. Get a good cutting board. And then you gotta get yourself a good knife. You gotta get yourself a good knife. This is my shun. I got it in culinary school 20 years ago. I still use it. I remember spending $150 and being like, how am I ever gonna do this? And it was great. It's perfect. I still use it to this day, 20 years later. I think I got my money's worth. So to me, those are the essentials. That's what you need. Just those. All right, so I got my chicken here. Put another glove on. Time to bread it up. Oops, lost my glove. So I'm gonna take my non-stick pan, get a little butter in there and a little olive oil. Actually, no, not butter. I'm just gonna do olive oil. Let's just do some oil. Get my glove on, and now Here we go. I did not salt and pepper these because they're so thin cut and they have so much flavor going on them that I don't think they need them. We'll taste them at the end and we'll hit them with a little salt if we need to. But really, there's salt in the flour. There's salt in the Parmesan. I think we're good. So I'm going to take one piece. I'm going to get it right in the flour. Just like that. It's important. Shake it. Shake it. Get all that off. I'm not looking for the flavor of flour. I'm looking for now the egg has something to stick to. So I'm going to go ahead, drop it in the egg. Just like that. Let's take that off. Let that drip for a minute because I'm not looking for scrambled eggs. Just looking for something that now our delicious Parmesan Panko lemon zest can stick to. So get it in there and I push it. I get it in there. I want it in all the little cracks. I want crispy and golden. So if you push it in there, you're in a good spot. So that's what it should look like. Okay, I'm going to put that down. Let's do it with the other one. I'm going to do 2 at a time here. Flour. Shake, shake, shake. Right in the egg. Let that drip. And then right in there. Push it all in. See, now this is not boring chicken breast. We've all had boring chicken breast. We don't have time for that. This is yummy, crunchy chicken breast. Let me check my oil here, see if we're hot. Because of course, we're not gonna put this in unless we hear a sizzle. I need to hear a sizzle. If you don't hear a sizzle, take it out. It's gonna end up greasy. Let me see, I'm gonna add a little, yep, we got sizzle. So I'm gonna do 2 at a time here. Move that oil around, get it right in there. Then I always give it a shake to make sure there's oil underneath it because, sorry, it's not the healthiest, but oil is what makes it golden brown. We're kind of shallow frying this, if you will, a little bit. We're just gonna let this do its thing. Before I do the next 2, I'm dropping my pasta. So I'm gonna get my pasta going here. Ooh, I almost forgot the most important part. Salt. Let's get the salt in here. A lot of it. Look at this. Not nearly enough. More. Get it salty, salty, salty. This is how you season the pasta itself. It's the only time you can really season it yourself. And we're going to use probably a little of that pasta water later. So we want that nice and salty. So I'm going to grab some pasta here. Do not put olive oil in that water. It's a horrible decision. Olive oil, you might think it keeps it from sticking together. Not only does it not keep it from sticking together, when you drain it, it keeps the sauce from sticking to it. So no one likes that. Just stir it a lot. Just stir it every once in a while. Make sure nothing's sticking together. Beautiful. Chicken cooks quick. So I'm going to take my other 2 real quick and do these quickly. I just said quick like 5 times because like I said, I'm drinking the strongest coffee of my life. Okay, we're going to go flour. I can get 1 done, I bet, before I have to flip. Flour, egg, panko. Let's check on these. Ooh, honey. Now, when you flip them, make sure that oil's underneath. I can even see I might need a little more. We're frying, baby. Don't be stingy. But that is a beautiful color. Okay, I left this in my panko. And have the next 2 ready to go. And this is why our oven is set to 200 degrees because it's just going to keep these nice and warm without drying them out while we finish everything else. All right, that one's ready to go. Let's do the next one. Flour. Egg. If you have extra, oftentimes there's extra in here, don't reuse it. Even if it's like panko and wonderful chicken and everything, please don't reuse it. Very unhealthy. There we go, get in there. Oh, this looks good. It's starting to smell amazing in this kitchen. All right, moving these aside. Don't need those anymore, done. My other 2 chicken breasts are ready to go, but first, stir pasta. Make sure nothing's sticking together. Stir it all around. Check this chicken. This chicken's in a good spot. I want to show it to you here. Let me flip this one real quick. I mean, how beautiful is that? All right, I'm going to grab another little sheet pan here because I don't want to use the same one I've already used. So let's get this out. So pretty. All right, now what I want to do, move that to the side. I'm going to go ahead and get more oil in the pan. So now I can fry again. But if you see a lot of little bits that may have fallen off, I take them out. You don't have to. I'm about, you know, making things look pretty as well. And those darker bits would stick. So I'm just going to get more oil in here. And let's drop our chicken. Sizzle, honey. It is all about the sizzle and the sizzle and the wiggle, right? We need to make sure that that oil is underneath. If it looks like you need a little more, add a little more. All right, I'm gonna get my chicken here in my 200-degree oven so it keeps them warm. Love it. Let's go ahead and stir this pasta. And we can start the sauce while we're waiting for that chicken to finish up. First, let's grab, I've got more garlic. We're gonna do some garlic. I'm gonna start, this sauce comes together in 2 seconds. It's so fast. I think I'm just gonna use the crouton one here. Just gonna take the croutons out a little bit. No use to dirty a third pan. I got time for that. So over here, I'm gonna start melting down some butter on medium heat. What do we got? How long do I cook the chicken in the pan for? Till it's just a beautiful golden on both sides. If it's only a 1/4 inch thick, it'll be cooked through. So don't worry, just so it's a beautiful golden on both sides. All right, so pasta's working. Second round of chicken is working. So now again, let's smash up some garlic. Got some unsalted butter melting behind me. Let's get this sauce together. Breaking it up. Just run your knife through. This one doesn't need to be as perfect as the Caesar because we're not eating it raw. We're cooking it. When it's raw, I want it mixed. Into. All right, let's check this chicken. Oops, I lost my heat on my chicken. Come back here. Let me check on our butter for our sauce. Sizzling, but not too high, just medium. I'm not looking to burn this garlic. I just want it to get fragrant. So I'm gonna add in my garlic. By the way, Valentine's Day is coming up. This is a great meal to make on Valentine's Day. Throwing that out there. All right, getting all that butter. Stir my pasta again. See how that's feeling out. Beautiful, it's linguini, so it takes a minute. I'm gonna show you a little trick of what we're gonna do once this garlic is in a good spot. Like I said, I'm not looking to brown it, just looking to get it fragrant and lightly cooking. Check my chicken. I mean, how amazing does that look? If you came to this class hungry, I am so sorry. All right, get brown on the other side. All right, garlic, it's fragrant, it smells amazing. Cream, going in. We're gonna let that just kind of hang out with that garlic for a few minutes. Let that thicken up a little bit. Chicken, pasta, we're good. Okay, so now that I've taken my cream here, getting hot, chicken finishing up, pasta's about to come out. What do we need to do with the pasta? We need to get some of that pasta water. Perfect. We need to get some of that pasta water in here. Just a little bit, because this is gonna help loose. It's salty, it's starchy, and it's gonna help the pasta stick to the sauce. So, all right, the cream and the garlic, amazing, smell fantastic. Let's add a couple things here. We're gonna add in more Parmesan, dump it in. And we're gonna add a big squirt of lemon in here. So with my tongs, of course, facing up or at least to the side, get that lemon in there. It's like a lemony Alfredo. This dish, by the way, is fantastic with shrimp as well. So if you ever just want to make this sauce and serve it with shrimp, great way to go. And now I'm gonna turn this on low heat and stir it up. Get that Parmesan melting in there. My chicken should be about done. It's all coming together at once here. Let me show you that chicken. How beautiful is that? Yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna get it in my 200-degree oven. Let that stay warm while we finish our pasta. All right, you move away. You stay warm. Let's check our pasta, see how we feel about it. Make sure our sauce is coming together here. But I'm gonna check a noodle first. When I was in Italy, cooking through Italy, I always knew pasta water was important. I've always heard pasta water is important, but then I realized how important it is because it's so starchy. And it really does help the sauce cling to it, to the pasta, which I love. So I feel like we've all had bad, like diner pasta where it's like sopping wet noodles and like a sauce over the top and it slides right off. Not fun. All right, that needs just a minute or so. Remember, if you're cooking these, if you're making this, make sure to tag it on Instagram at DPU involvement. So make sure you are doing that. All right, my sauce is in a good spot here. It has slightly thickened. The cheese has melted. Let's get a little salt and pepper. We can always hit it again at the end because we have salty pasta, Parmesan, and salty water. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wait for our pasta to go in. Oops, give this one more whisk here. Now that that sauce is cooked, we are just about there. All we're waiting to do now is just go ahead and pull the linguine out and put it right in the sauce. We're gonna top it with a little chicken. Now's the time, everybody. We have like 2 minutes. Now is the time. If you have any questions for me at all, cooking questions, recipe questions, Food Network questions, I'm here for it. Thank you. Who's your favorite chef or judge that you've worked with? I have 3 favorites. Ina Garten, who is Barefoot Contessa. She is heaven on earth, and her recipes are amazing. So we love Ina. Michael Simon is an absolute dream. So I love Michael Simon. He could not have been kinder and nicer on and off camera. So he will always remain one of my favorites. And I actually really liked Guy Fieri. He would talk to us off camera. He was very encouraging. He was pretty awesome. So I liked him a lot. All right, so now, great question. I've got my pasta water here. I'm gonna hold it for a minute. We're not gonna use it yet. I'm gonna stir it in once the pasta's in. Let me grab a plate. I forgot a plate. Let me grab one real quick. All right, it's got a plate. Now don't forget, we got our Caesar now. We can toss this together. I'm one of those people, I don't love having salad first and then a pasta. I like the back and forth of it because that way I feel like I can eat more. You cleanse your palate with something light and refreshing and then back to pasta. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some Caesar in here, some Caesar dressing. Give that a good toss. Where's my tongs? Here we go. Give this a good toss first. And then we're gonna top it with all those big shavings are so fantastic. Those big shavings of the Parmesan, it's like my favorite thing. And I want you to taste, right? Taste it. Let's see if we like it. See if it needs more pepper in there, more cheese. Nope, mine's good. Croutons, those buttery croutons. It looks like there's just as much croutons as there is salad. That's all right, we're in a pandemic. So I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle over the top. Might just eat these as an amuse-bouche. Give these a good toss. Salad's ready to go. Chicken's ready to go. Sauce is ready to go. And I have a feeling our pasta's ready to go. Let me try one more time. It's boiling like mad over here. I just need one piece, honey. Just one. Whew. Don't throw it against a wall or do any of those things. Just eat it. We're good. All right, so I got my sauce ready to go. Let me grab my pasta. That pasta was salty. I just ate it with salty. That's what I need, is that salt. Now, it's dripping. Get it right in there. Get that pasta water in there. Stir, stir, stir. Get that cream in there. Really coat those noodles. You might not need that pasta water we reserved, but it's always good to have it as backup. But I think I'm bringing in enough pasta water with me here that I think I'm in a good spot. If you wanted to top this with fresh basil or more Parmesan or anything like that, do it. Now, what I like to do is I put it back on the stove and let this cook together for a minute. Even though your pasta is done and even though your sauce is done, let's cook this together for a minute because that starchy water will help bring this all together and thicken up. And while we're doing that, I'm going to give it a taste. What does it need? M.I.T.G, everybody. What does it need? Make it taste good. So let me get in there, get a bite with the sauce on it, and let's see what it needs. This makes a lot, by the way. So if you're, you know, at home eating this by yourself, you're welcome. Like I said, dude, I'm losing all of it. It's a pandemic, and if you're one of those people who's getting healthy during the pandemic, good for you. I'm not doing Beachbody. I'm basically doing this every day. All right, let me see here. You know what? I'm just going in. Okay. I happen to think mine needs a little more lemon. I didn't get enough lemon flavor out of that. When I hear lemon, I want lemon. So I'm gonna do a little more lemon. I'm gonna do a little bit of pasta water. It's thickening up really fast. A little bit of pasta water, a little bit of lemon. Maybe I'll use my juicer for this one. Get some more lemon in there. There we go. That's a good dinner. Let's start plating this up while this finishes up. See, now the sauce is sticking to it. Yes, finish up in that sauce. I'm gonna plate up some pasta first. Like I said, I like the side by side. What's your favorite ever dish to cook? I am obsessed, oddly enough, even though I didn't do it tonight, I'm a fresh pasta girl. I make more fresh pasta in a year than most people make in their lifetime. It's something I do on Sunday with my kids. I love rolling out fresh pastas, trying new raviolis, new agnolottis, new lasagnas. Like I'm a big pasta girl. So that's my favorite thing. Simple, M.I.T.G type food. All right, beautiful salad here. You get some of those buttery croutons, some big chunks of the parm. Pasta's ready to go. It is cooked and thickened up in that cream. Let's see if I can show you. Ooh, I left those right on the heat. Do I have another one? I'm gonna use my Caesars. I left those on the heat and I don't feel like burning myself. Now that sauce is sticking. Beautiful. I love it. Let's go ahead and add that right onto my plate. Simple, simple elegance, simple, taste good pasta. And then we can't forget the most important part because you just made yourself perfect, juicy, crunchy, crispy, cheesy chicken. Put it on there. Okay. Yes. That's dinner. Dinner came together in less than an hour, and look how gorgeous that is. Valentine's Day, guys. Valentine's Day. Make this for somebody. You can make the whole salad ahead of time. So does anyone have any questions for me? Otherwise, if you're cooking along, you probably want to sit and eat. So does anyone have any other questions before I let you go? I appreciate you so much for joining me in my kitchen on a Tuesday night. You're probably sick